So, okay, Micah, it's your show.
Okay. I am probably going to be not looking directly at you because I have two screens, and so I'm going to look at Canva, which is over here, but I promise I'm paying attention to y'all. We're talking a little bit about Canva today, and I think let me look. I'm going to see how many people are in here. We've got quite a few. We were thinking, and I told you, Chris, that everybody joins at the last minute. Um, if I'm gonna share my screen in just a minute. Before I do that, I would kind of like to know, what is your level of use of Canva? I think of Canva as being something that probably everybody uses all the time, because I use it all the time. And I'm not going to tell you I'm like the be all end all expert on it, but I literally do use it almost every day for something. Um, and so I'm just going to show you what I do with it. And I've got a little kind of presentation thing that I'll show you, but I'm going to um, just open up my own personal Canva account and kind of show you in that what I do in there. So what do you, yeah, like Jenna, you said you don't pay for it. Kimberly, you say you use it some, but you'd like to use it more. I use it and it annoys me often. Jenna, that's like hearsay. Oh no, I love it. It makes me so happy. Um, Wendy, use it daily. Kind of looking just that way. I sort of know, like, are we talking about you don't know much at all about it, or you're just here to see, like, is there anything else that you might want to do with it that you don't know about? Paid for something, still working up to the initial $20. Rarely use it. Only have the free version, newbie to it, used it in the past. Do we have a university license, or do we use the free one? No, we don't, Kimberly. I'll be honest with you. I think the free version, I'm going to go over that in just a second. I think the free version does pretty much most everything that you would want, with a couple of um, small exceptions that are probably maybe the annoying thing to you, Jenna. Like, a few of the things that are annoying to me are the things that you don't get with the free version, but they have like so much with the free version that you can get away with just using that and be really successful with it. I do pay for it. I've had it for quite a few years. What I'm going to show you is going to have JSU content in it, but I pay for it out of just my own pocket. I don't pay for that out of like any kind of funds from JSU, because I use it personally. My husband has a business, kind of a side business that we have. He has a music business, and so he creates all of his social media stuff and videos. And so some of the things I show you will actually kind of be that, because I don't do a lot of videos on it, but he does a lot of videos on it. So I can show you what those look like using his. Um, so we use it personally that way, and he writes it off or whatever. So, I mean, but you can't, I used it free before that, and I do love the paid version. And I joke that it's the best, whatever, however much it costs a year, that I spend, and I would not get rid of it. Like, if I had to get rid of something in my life, it wouldn't be Canva. So let's go ahead, and you've never used the videos. So they do have them. They're pretty cool. They're easy to do. All right, so let me go ahead and share my screen. And let me move you over. Okay, so can you all see? I can still see the chat. So if you have a question, you can type that in, and I should be able to read it and see that. Are you all able to see my screen, full screen, the Canva home screen? Okay.
Yes.
All right. So I have the Canva Pro account. I do, like I said a minute ago, I do pay for it. This looks the same as the Canva free account. The difference isn't really in what you get as far as kind of what's offered to you. It's just that there is, like, as far as what type of documents you can create and stuff like that. You can create all the same documents and all of the same features in the free account. It's just basically you have less cloud storage with it of what it backs up for you, and you have less choices in templates and designs. But there are still so many templates and designs that it's really, if you don't use it all that often or you're just using it for class or something, it's probably not that big of a problem. And you may have some designs that have like a watermark in it. If that doesn't bother you, then you may choose not to do that. But I'm going to show you some of the features that I have with mine. I'm going to go in. I actually kind of made a presentation, and I'm going to start with this. So thought the best thing to do was make my presentation using Canva. And if you've never used a presentation with Canva, it's such a better looking option to me than PowerPoint. If you're really familiar with PowerPoint, it will feel easier to you to do a PowerPoint, and this will feel a little bulky on the front end when you're doing it. Part of the reason is because everything is movable in this. So like if you're looking at this, I can move all the little individual features here, and that can sometimes cause you a little bit of a headache when you have a template that you have to kind of go in and adjust every single feature for. But there are even some tricks in that. Just something as simple as, if I wanted to shift this whole thing over and I'm trying to move each individual thing, it will make you kind of crazy. But if you learn some of the tricks, like you can, if you have a mouse, you can hold down like left click, and then drag down, and everything that it drags down and touches will become a group, and you can then move it all as a group. And so like little things like that, when you get to learning a little more about Canva, make it so much easier to use. And then you can choose to like keep it a group. And so now I clicked at the top, you have this bar across the top that has all of your tools in it that you can choose. You have a left-hand menu that has kind of your basic menus over here to the far side, design, elements, uploads. I'll come up back to all that in just a minute. But so something like even as small as this can make it easier to use. And the more you use it, the better you will learn how to do those little things. And you could always re-click it, go back up and ungroup it, and make that go to the back. And you're back where you started with everything is individually movable. So little things like that will make it a little easier to use, and you'll figure it out as you use it. So I'm going to put this into presenter mode. Let's see if it works while I'm in a presentation. I don't know if I've done it exactly in that way. Can y'all see that? Presenter mode? Okay. So
Yes.
one of the things that I really, really like about Canva that I think is probably the most useful for teaching is the presentations. They're so much cuter. I mean, honestly, y'all know I like a good aesthetic, as we've established with my Valentine's decor here, but they're so much cuter. You can make them look really great. And to me, and not just, I mean, this one is kind of more a little fun or whatever, but you can make them more professional looking. They don't have to be so busy and colorful. Yes, cuter is an actual terminology there for it. You can create brand kits for colors, and have those saved inside of Canva. So for example, at JSU, we have certain Canva colors. You can find those by going to marketing services and looking at the marketing handbook that shows like all of the rules for marketing for JSU. We have Canva colors that are our official colors at JSU that we use in Canva. So I saved all of those, and it's just a matter of like, it tells you the little code number. You type that in when you click into the colors, and it'll pull up whatever color is correlated to that. So we have like the certain reds that we use. We even have, every college has a designated color. I don't know if you know that or not. I think like our arts and humanities may be purple, but every college has a designated color that has a designation in Canva for that color. So like I saved a brand kit that was JSU color palette. And when I make official things for JSU, I can easily select that color palette and I know that I'm on brand with what JSU wants me to do and I'm in compliance with the colors that we put forth kind of as the university. But you can do fun things too. So this one is just a template presentation that I've used, but I'm going to use it and go through it really quickly. But probably my best feature for using it in the classroom. It even has like the cute little pointer here that you can show. You can present live as well. Now, most of us would probably do it like in Teams, like I'm doing right now if we're doing this for students. But one of the cool features is with presentations like this, you can send a link for your presentations, like through email, for example, and your students can get a link and there's now what's called presentation live. I haven't used it a lot, it's pretty new, but now your students can actually click that link. Let's say you didn't have an LMS, they could click that link and they could watch the presentation that you were giving, and type questions and things like that in the presentation as you go, and you could all kind of watch that together in an online space. So there's some cool things that are coming out with Canva. It's really becoming more robust every day. So again, why use it? The range of features are vast. It's free for most of the features. It's really a staple when you want to design lessons. It's great for students. They know how to use Canva. They are good at a couple of things. And one of those things is editing their photos and their social media content. And a lot of them use Canva to do that for their own social media purposes and online use. They're using Canva. So if you're using Canva in the classroom, they know how to use it as well. You can assign them presentations, things like that, and they will catch on to this very quickly, very easily. I have kids in elementary school and middle school, they use Canva. They'll come home and have created some sort of presentation for their class assignments using Canva. It's being used K through 12 pretty heavily. So when they get to college, it's a great tool to have them use for class presentations, class collaboration assignments, things like that. And because it's free, you're not having to worry about requiring them to purchase something. Do y'all have any questions so far? I know I talk a lot and fast. Just type them in the comments or interrupt me. So some of this, I think you probably all know. Most of you said you were pretty familiar with it. A couple of you said you were newbies. It's basically just a graphic design tool. In all honesty, it's kind of allowed us to all become graphic designers. Maybe that's a good thing, and maybe that's not a great thing sometimes when we don't, maybe have the exact, background to know exactly design, kind of to-dos and not to-dos. But the great thing about it is if you aren't really a graphic designer, as far as like, I don't really know how to make an aesthetic look pleasing or whatever, there are so many templates that you can pick from that you don't really even have to be a great graphic designer. You can choose from all of the free templates. You can use the app as well. So there is an app available. It's in the web browser, but you can also use the iOS or Android app, and it's very easy to use. It's compatible on an iPad. So it's something that pretty much all of your students can access, which is another thing, because a lot of your students use Canvas, for example, on their phones. And, they do. I used to have students in English class who would, when we would write papers and we were in the computer lab, they would hook their phone up to the computer and they would sit like this and they would type their papers on their phone. Blows my mind because I can't even function without like a double screen that's gigantic. I hate like any little small screen, but that is how a lot of them work. And so it does have a good app that they can use, which I think is important for students to be able to function. Creating your account. So if you don't have an account, it's very easy to do. You can sign up with your email, you can sign up with, your Google account, or you can even sign up through Facebook. Once you've created your account, you're going to pick whether you want to use the free version. They also now have an teacher education package where you can go in, kind of like when we get online textbooks, and you can go in and, sign up as like the educator side of it and you get the free stuff or whatever. They have that now for Canva. I'm not enrolled in that. Again, I've had my account longer than that has been around and I'm just sticking with it. But it is something that you could look at if you wanted to create an educator's account. I think for the most part, you probably don't really have to do that for what most of you would be using it for. I have a feeling that the educator account is probably the most useful in the K through 12 world, where maybe your students aren't able to create their own accounts. Maybe they're young. Maybe you have a lot of students in the class and you need to give them all access. And so you can have, and maybe you don't have a budget for it and you need those features. But it could be something to look into if you wanted to see what's available in the educator's account. And you can just go to the Canva website and it'll show you what you get when you create that account. You'd have to use your jsu.edu email to do that. So once you create your account and you pick which one you want, it'll start to tailor the experience to your needs. It'll sort of start to see like what you look at a lot, what you're searching for, and it'll give you suggestions that kind of line up with that. As far as pricing goes, so here's sort of the breakdown. If you use the free account, you get more than 250,000 templates. I mean, plenty to choose from. You get more than 100 design types. You get hundreds of thousands of photos, graphics, collaboration features, and you get 5 gigs of cloud storage. If you use the pro account, you're charged $119 per year. To me, it's very, very like it's a great cost. I'm pay that without any batting of my eye. I will warn you, when I first signed up for it and I did the $119 Canvas Pro, you can also get Canva for Teams. And it's not Teams as in like our JSU Teams. It's like collaboration, create like job teams or group teams. Which means basically you can invite people to join your team and they would also have access to your Canva collaborations, your editing, your templates, kind of your account. And when I first signed up for it, I did the 119 and I was like, oh, I'm going to invite someone to my team. It'll be easy, and I invited like a friend to join my team and then I invited another friend. And then I didn't pay attention to it for like a year and a half until one day my PayPal got hit with my renewal charge and it was $269. And I was like, what the heck? Canva has gone up. And then I realized, and it's changed a little bit since then, but it was charging me $60 per team member I was adding. I didn't know that. I thought I was just like, hey, there's a team. You want to join it? Like, the people I added did not even do anything in my Canva, and I literally paid like 2 years for them at $120 before I realized it, and was like, sorry, I have just kicked you off of my team. So be careful with that. But now the way that it works, I can tell you, you pay $119 for the pro account. And if you want to add anybody, so let's say that in the library, for example, Alice, let's say like 3 or 4 of you wanted to go in together. You wanted to have the ability to create all of these different, things within Canva. You wanted to share, collaborate, use it very fully. You could split that cost among yourselves, and it would be $149 per year, and you can have up to 5 members on your team. And then after that, when you add a member, it's either $7 a month or $60 a year per member. If you're splitting it, that might not be a terrible deal, if you have 3 or 4 people going in and splitting that charge. I'm not going to tell you this is what you should do, but I'm just like, here, take my password. And like myself, my husband, Brandy, and my best friend who has a jewelry business all have my password. And I don't know that that's a thing that I should say or not, but it's my own personal account. So I feel like I'm going to say it. I just simply say, here, log in as me. And they just use my account. And so, maybe that's an option as well. If you get the pro account, here are the things that make it worthwhile, in my opinion, if you're going to use it very, very often. You can resize images. That is the biggest one. That was the thing that drove me the most nuts in the past. So for example, let's say I found a template I loved, but it was like in a 3x5 template size, and I need it to be in like an 8x10 or something like a poster size or a flyer size. I was not able to change. You can't change that sizing. You just have to find another template in the size that you need it to be, like in the right size. And so with the Pro account, I can choose to change every template into any size, including custom sizes. So when we do faculty awards, we make our graphics through Canva. We make our invitation that we send out through Canva. The print shop has certain sizings that they need it to be in when we send it to them. So I can customize. Um, yeah, I know. I actually did think about that, Allison, that it's going to be like Netflix and one day they're going to shut down my sharing of passwords. But you can, I can customize and say, well, I'm going to make this template, but I know when I send it to the print shop, it's going to be wonky if it's not in this dimension, or like their envelopes are certain sizes. So I can customize my template to be the size I need it to be, which was kind of annoying before when I was not able to do that. You also have way more templates. You have more images to choose from in graphics. You have other features too, like you can schedule on social media platforms. You can embed more features into your account. I'm going to show you in my account in just a second more. And you have 100 gigs of cloud storage, which will last a long time for you. So the basics between Canva free and, kind of the pros and cons, because I think most of you would probably want to stick with free unless you just really are using it a lot. The two biggest things is that you can't resize the templates in the free version, and there is no spell check. Now, I have Grammarly installed on my computer, and so that will spell check my text boxes. And if you have Grammarly installed, it will do that. And let me tell you, nothing is worse than making that great document. It looks wonderful, and you realize when you print it, send it on, make your poster, and send it out to all of JSU, and you're like, oh, I have a spelling error in there. That will make you kind of insane. So you really want spell check is probably a super important feature, which is really smart for them to have left that off of the free version, because that's a pretty big draw for people, needing to make sure things are spelled correctly. Somebody was using their brain on that. Other than that, I mean, you pretty much have everything you would need. One other feature that I do really like as far as with the Pro version is you can remove the background off of things. And that's something that I do use more than I ever thought I would. So like you can have an image that you pull from somewhere, upload, and you can choose to remove the background and make that transparent or whatever. So if I have like a logo for Faculty Commons and I need to remove the background, I just want like the central part, it'll do that for me. And I've done that. Actually just did that this week when I ordered the swag for faculty awards. We ordered some of our swag stuff and some of our like we're having a casino night theme for faculty awards, and so we ordered playing cards, and I needed a logo for Faculty Commons, but I needed the background transparent. And without the ability to do this on Canva, I'm sure that there's a free something I could have used out there. I would have had to have asked marketing to do it for me, sent them the image, wait for them to be able to get to it because they're busy, get that back to me with a transparent background. But instead, I was able to just upload it, click remove background, it was done. So that's one that I actually use a lot in kind of my everyday use. Okay, so for some background, Canva launched in 2013. They've come a long way since then. There are various layouts, images, filters, icons, shapes. I mean, all that you can think of. And then Canva for Education is currently being used by about 20 million educators. So I do encourage you to look at that if you are interested in that. This is just kind of a list, and this is kind of my last slide before I go to my actual Canva and show you around in it. But here, to me, some of the most useful things that I think that you might be interested in Canva. First of all, presentations and talking presentations. So you can see what this looks like. I mean, you could have your Canva up, go into present mode, and this is what you could use in classrooms. I did a presentation earlier in the semester for advising for the advisors for Janet Bavanese. I made my presentation in Canva, just opened my Canva, clicked present mode, and that's how I presented it to them. And it was, again, a lot prettier than it would have been in PowerPoint. And we'll talk about talking presentations in just a second when I show it to you. Canva with Flip. I don't know if y'all use Flip or what was previously considered Flipgrid. I used to use that a lot in my classes as well, especially speech classes, where I would have students present, their presentations and things like that, and some informal I don't want to say presentations, but where they would kind of do some like blogs and things like that for me in that course. And so there is a Canva with Flip, and this is a website. And so I'll drop this presentation. I'll have to save it. I haven't saved it and downloaded it yet, but I can do that in just a second. And I'll send this to everybody and you can have this website. Actually, let me just copy it right now and I'm going to send it to y'all in the chat. All right, so I just sent you the website that I'm on. So that's another great thing is you can put links really, really easily. Honestly, it's so much easier for me to put links and videos in Canva presentations than it is in other presentation, kind of formats like PowerPoint or Sway or whatever. So this is just an article that I found that has a lot of tips on how to use Canva. And if you scroll down a little bit, it gives you information, like right here, on Flip or Flipgrid and how to use Canva to make backgrounds for Flipgrid or to use and pull into Flipgrid. I haven't done that a whole lot because I haven't taught a class where I use Flipgrid. I mean, I've been over here for almost 2 years now, so haven't done that quite as much, but it looks pretty easy to do. So you can kind of follow some of these instructions. And if you do use Flipgrid, which I also recommend, this is a great kind of feature to be able to get some templates for them to use for backgrounds. So it has Canva templates on Flip that you can click into and find that. It'll give you all that you kind of need to know. And your students are probably in K through 12 using Flip as well. When they come to college, some don't know about it, but my students, my kids use Flipgrid in their K through 12 classrooms. So that's kind of a cool thing to integrate. Infographics, you can make great infographics for your own presentations, or also have your students make infographics if you're doing an assignment where you need them. Actually, in a master's program right now, and one of my assignments I had to do, I've had to make infographics. I've come to Canva for pretty much everything I've done in that class. Whiteboard. This is similar to the whiteboard that you have if you have the Surface Pro, but not everybody has Surface Pro. A lot of people have a Mac, and this is a great, I'll share this site too with y'all. So this is a great option to use that you can do the same thing. That you can do the same thing with whiteboard inside of Canva that you could do with like the whiteboard feature. Actually, the whiteboard feature in Microsoft in Surface Pro, nobody tell Andrew Higgins, but it frustrates the snot out of me. And this one is so much easier to use, like so much easier to use. But you can go down and it will, like if you'll scroll down on this site that I've just sent you to, it talks about Canva whiteboard, and it gives you a little bit of information about creating those and what you can do with it, and even kind of comparing it to like Microsoft Whiteboard, for example. So you can send out a link when you make a whiteboard, and others can click on that link and they can collaborate as well. So this would be a really great feature to have students use, for example, in class, if they were working on something where they were all kind of collaborating together. Virtual Post-it notes for some ideas. Maybe you were doing a lit review or something like that, and you wanted them to have some group collaboration and create this kind of digital whiteboard for them to put all of their ideas in. You could do that. They could make the whiteboard and then send that. You'd probably have to do a little teaching the first time you did it, show them how to do it. But once they figured it out, it would be pretty easy to do. Smart docs. This is another thing. I actually sent a smart doc to y'all through a faculty team's email at the beginning of the semester when I sent out kind of the, hey, this is everything happening in spring. It's a rather new feature to Canva, so I haven't used it that often, but I really do like it. So it's maybe out of beta now, but it's still kind of undergoing some changes. But it's basically this kind of it's just like a Word document, but it has templates and it's like a little more expansive than just a normal Word document. And it does have the same abilities as like a Google Doc where you can collaborate, multiple people can work in the document at one time. It has real easy features, like you can add all the images, the fonts, things like that, but you can also add videos and YouTubes and things like that as well, and it very easy. So if you come back to this, and I've linked the same website that I was just looking at here, it has also a write-up about the smart docs that you can come to if you're playing with that and trying to kind of figure that out. It'll tell you a little information about that, but we'll look at it in just a second. Social media posts. My husband definitely uses it for all of his social media posts for his business, but at JSU, I will use it to. I'm not real great at like posting in our faculty commons Facebook group. That's really not my superpower, but it's great to make social media posts. You can even make things like Facebook headers. So I used to create Facebook groups for my classes that were kind of optional for them to join at times or whatever, where I would, they would kind of just have a community, especially in speech classes. We used to do that, and I would create using social media the headers that you can create. I would make like a header that was just for our class, and it would, maybe have graphics and move, and it would have all our class information in it or whatever. So you can do a lot of things with that. There's fonts, stickers, effects. You can upload your photos. You can drag and drop and edit really easily. Lots of digital downloads that you can do. You can download in multiple types of files that make it super easy to get what you need. You can do scheduled posts to social media. That's a pro version feature, but if you have it, you can link, your social media, you can link, different things to it. We'll look and see what all the options are, and you can schedule posts there. So, for example, I taught a writing for social media course one time, and they used Canva to create. They had like mock, or we came up with, they had to create businesses that they were running the social media for, and they would do scheduled posts, or if that feature was available to them, and whatnot, using Canva. And so this can be something, if you have an active social media page with your classes or whatnot, that's a good thing to use. Virtual backgrounds. You can do Teams and Zoom virtual backgrounds that you can use. So if you see people who have virtual backgrounds that are cool and you're like, where did you get that one? You can make those really easily in Canva. And then other photo effects, and then brand kits with like the color palettes that I was talking about. Last slide here, and then we're going to mine. Best uses: classroom presentations, creating flyers, and marketing materials. That one, I used to use Canva if I had a class that I had not taught, before, or I was just trying to drum up student interest in. When we went to Yellowstone, and we wanted to hang flyers everywhere, and I was posting on my social media to try to get students to sign up, and I did all of that through Canva. You can stay organized. One thing that I do a lot that you don't think about in Canva, I will look up templates if I have a meeting, like for agendas, or whatever, like meeting organizers, and it will have something great that I can go in and just add my information in. You can look up like rubrics, things like that, and then you just fill in the content. Calendars, or to-do lists, all of those things. I even look up like my grocery list, all sorts of stuff that you can create inside of Canva. Live presentations, collaborative projects, infographics, videos, and basically anything that you can think of. Let me go back. Do y'all have any questions before we kind of look at through? I'll let you peruse through the craziness that is my own personal Canva account. Y'all good so far? Okay. So if you're looking at your home account, you've got a couple of things. At the top, you have kind of your three bars. That's like your main menu where you can show it or hide it. You have your Canva home. You click on that, it'll always take you back to the home page. Design Spotlight, that's where you can kind of see all of the different areas within Canva that you can go to in like one easy place. So you can go to your graphs and charts, your whiteboards, different, photo collages. You can also actually purchase things off Canva. I don't really do that myself, but you can if you do have a need, if you wanted to purchase cards or whatever, flyers. I mean, you can do that through Canvas or through Canva. You have your education. So if you are interested in the education features, you can come to the top and you can go down and you can look at this. Again, because I don't have that, I don't necessarily have kind of firsthand knowledge of exactly how all of that looks. But again, you can kind of click into it. It'll tell you what schools use this. You can kind of investigate if this looks like something you might want to talk to someone in your department about, or I would probably say that you want to use it free first, kind of figure it out, and then maybe discuss with colleagues if you wanted to consider doing the Canva for team. But there is Canva for campus, which is priced based off student body size. I mean, I don't have the ability to tell you we're going to have that, but they do offer that feature. And then I don't know anything about the LMS integration, but I saw where they do have that, and it shows that students can complete Canva assignments through Canvas. I haven't used it. I haven't integrated it into my classroom specifically, but again, might be something interesting for someone to look into, whether that's Chris on the integrating it side, what all that is kind of involves, or if that's something that you can do individually. I'm not positive, but it is something that they have recently added, our integration features there. Okay, so let's go back to home, and then you can see editing and plans and pricing up there to kind of look at that. So basically, you have your home screen on the side, you have your templates, and you can kind of organize what you do by your projects. Do y'all use Microsoft Forms? Does anybody use Microsoft Forms? If you ever use Microsoft Forms, which is also something I love and I use all the time, when you go to your Forms homepage, like whatever your most recent form that you used is kind of always the first thing that shows in that recent design, recent form area. Same thing with Canva. Everything that you've used recently kind of shows up within the order of how you've used it underneath your home screen, kind of recent design. That can get overwhelming for me because, again, I'm using this and sharing this with other people. So you can see, like, here are all things I've done, then here's stuff like my husband's done. It's kind of mixed, and then it's a lot to kind of go through and scroll and look for. So you can organize really easily all of your content. So once you create something, it will show up here on your recent design area, and then you have 3 little buttons at the top for each tile of where you have made something. You can click into it, you can title it, you can put descriptions on it, you can open it up and see it. And when you click into the 3 buttons there, you have the options you can make a copy of it if you want to make a copy and then make some changes to it. Download it, get a view only link if you want somebody to see it, you don't want them to change anything. Get rid of it, trash it, share it. But then you can also move it to folders. And so folders I like to move all of my stuff into folders. Let's see. So if you click into projects, you'll be able to see your folders, your designs, if you have brand templates. So like, that's my friend that let her use my account for her little business. So you can create a brand template if you have something that's like your business, your brand that you've made, you want a template that you continue to use on everything. But folders, so like I'm going to go open a Faculty Commons folder. Actually, I'm going to open this English folder from a little while back. This is like an example of a Facebook header that I made in the past, and this was what was at the top of my Facebook group where my students joined it. It's been a while, but Just something so that they knew that they were in the right place. You have tons of, to the side, it will show you all of the templates. It's just a drag and drop type of method. So I could change this really easily. You can make them from scratch. You can choose a template and then adjust it. Everything is kind of adjustable. You can click on something. You have a toolbar across the top that's going to have sort of the same features you would have like in a Word document. So you can change the color, the font, the effects. You can animate things. You can group or ungroup them, position, bring them to forward, put them behind another image. Make things transparent to kind of solid. You can add links, email, like embed links to things, to websites, and you can lock it so that you can't change anything on something. And sometimes I do that if it's something that I keep accidentally messing with. So here are some examples that I've used it for in the past. When I did not do this because of COVID, but when I was supposed to teach for the CCSA, a month study abroad course in London in the summer of 2020, I created all of my flyers using Canva and, put all of the costs and all the information. And this is how I made all of my marketing materials that I hung around my department and that I hung, for students to see or get handed out at events. I made social media posts, and this was like an Instagram post that I created, and you can play it. And this is kind of how it looked on Instagram. Actually, at the time, I had a free account too, and so I think I made about half of my stuff in my free account before I swapped over to using my pro account for everything. So I'm going to show you, I'm going to look in. So faculty commons, here is just kind of where I've grouped a lot of my faculty commons things, generically speaking. So I'll show you some of the different things that I've done. I told you that I use this for all of my marketing things. So you can make flyers, you can make, if y'all got an email from me that this morning, this was the flyer that you received the image, I saved it as a PNG and just copied it and pasted it into the email that I sent out. I added the QR code so that you could, this is for faculty awards, so that you would easily be able to go to our website, added some information. So once you create a document, whatever type of document you've created, at the top to the side, you have share in that little top right-hand corner. When you click that, this is where you can decide kind of what you want to do with whatever it is that you've made. You can add people. So this is not like adding them to the team where you're going to have to pay $60 for it. This is where I want to send someone maybe a sample. And they don't have Canva. So for example, I have a friend who has a daughter that she doesn't use Canva. She's really not super tech savvy. And occasionally they do something that we create in my Canva account, and then I'll send her the link into her email for her to be able to see it and print it or do whatever she's going to do with it. You can choose how people access it. If they, anybody with the link can see it, or if you have to be given the link to see it. And then down here, you can see that you have a couple of options or a lot of options. You can embed. So let's say that you're using Canvas. One of my favorite features from Canvas when I would go into the text boxes would be the embed feature. So if I was going to share a form or anything, a YouTube video, I always like to HTML embed those so that you can actually see it inside of Canvas instead of just having to click on like a hyperlink. You can do that to your images. You can send it to a phone. You can share it to watch. You can generate a QR code. But the thing that you're probably going to do is simply download it. So you can do that as well. You can send it out through email, through text messenger. There's really endless options to what you can do with your thing. The thing I do the most is just click download. When you've clicked download, you go to the top and you decide how do you want it to download. If you've done a video, download it in MP4. If you want it to be, a GIF, you can save it that way, just a short clip, no sound. If you want it to be just printed PDF, you can choose that. If you need it to be an image, you can do a PNG or a JPEG. This is what I use every day, all the time, for all of the images that I'm using. Mostly I do PDF print or standard, and then just PNG. But it's that simple. It'll send it to your downloads, and then you just can open it, save it, do whatever you want to with it. If it has like a hyperlink or whatever, it's still clickable, even if it's PDF. Go back to our home screen. Let me go back to our projects, and we'll look at some different types of projects. And if you have anything particular, let me know. So look at presentations, for example. So you can see the bottom right here where you have the naming for each of your items in there. It'll tell you what the size is, or what type of document it is. So in this case, this would print an 11 by 8, 0.5. That's what it would save as. If you're printing it, that's going to be, you can choose things to be in poster size. I've done that where I've created large posters, sent them to a print shop, and then had, 11 by 14 posters or 16 by 24, whatever posters printed based off of what I created size-wise in Canva. So we're going to redo our P&T page at JSU in Faculty Commons, and I had to show what that was going to look like. So I used Canva to create a replica of our website so that we could be able to plan what our P&T page is going to look like when we create it. I just simply took a screenshot of our JSU website, and I went in and removed the images that I didn't want there. In some cases, to be able to, and this is just how I did it. I would add images to it. Sometimes I took and covered things up, like right here. If I moved this out, that was the original bottom part of the screenshot, but I wanted this to look like a scrolling website. So I just screenshotted a kind of a portion of the color of the screen and added that over that so that you could kind of get the effect of scrolling down the web page until you got to the end of what that would look like. And then there it is at the bottom. And I just duplicated this page over and over and over. And so this looks like what our website will actually look like when we redo and update the P&T page in Faculty Commons website. So kind of a cool feature that you can use if you're working on something for, your class. You need them to see. If you wanted your students to make mock websites, easily can be done through Canva. Last year, in fact, we worked with Kara Messina in the English department, and she had a writing for the web course. And she had her students kind of work as we were like a live client. They were going to redesign some portions of our website, and they used Canva. And we would have like client, meetings with them periodically throughout the semester, and they would present the website using Canva, and that's kind of how they did it as well. And so it was great because we could see exactly what it was going to look like. So that's a thing that you could do with your students. It does keep taking you back to your home page. So let's see, some other things like right here, this is where it says welcome to Faculty Commons, and it has the QR code. And that is a presentation size. So that is kind of made for screens, large screens. So this is the same sizing as like a PowerPoint would be. And this is what we have in our big TV in our lounge in Faculty Commons, and in the TV that's right outside of our door, and we just change it monthly or like with whatever is happening in Faculty Commons. So you can walk by and it goes with our aesthetic for the month, and you can kind of look at our QR code, go to our website. So again, another feature that you could use in a department or in your own area. You can make reports. This is a report. We have our new vice provost in academic affairs now. And so when I had a meeting with her, I just made a report because I'm extra like that. And so you can create things like that where you do, different types of documents that look professional that you can use for job duties. You can have your students make reports and turn those in using Canva. There are tons of things you can do. So if you want to do let's look at a document. Let me find one that is. This is one of the interactive documents, like I was talking about a minute ago, that's kind of a newer feature, the Smart Docs. So I haven't used this as much. There is a little bit of kind of like I had to sort of go through it and figure out what you're doing. But basically, this is a template. So if I wanted to edit the design, it would give me choices here, and I could change this whole background template look just by picking another, template over here to change it to. I would then have to go back into, so you can see I could save that there. I would have to go back into my document, and I've kind of created everything else to match that header that I had created. I'd have to change all the coloring and everything else to make it match. It doesn't make it uniform, but it's easy to, so you're kind of piecemealing out your document, and the whole document is in portions. So everything that you do, you'll have like a little plus sign on the side, and you can add new sections to your document. So when you click the little plus sign, you can choose to add different features. You can embed something, you can add timers, you can add charts, you can add tables. You can add a magic write section section where different people can go in and kind of like have that whiteboard feature and have a magic write section in there. So I used this and sent this out to everybody, and mine was pretty low key. It didn't have a whole lot of special features in it because, again, I just haven't used it a lot. It's a pretty new addition to Canva, but I did want to kind of see how to use it. And so I think it's probably worth playing for. This could be a really cool feature to create a syllabus with. You could use this because you can also save it as a PDF. And in fact, that's what it does save to. And so save it as a PDF, and you could upload it to your Canvas shell. You could print it and hand it out. You could send it an email, but then it would have some features in it, like if you embedded a YouTube video in it, or if you had a link to something that would be clickable when you shared it. So this to me could be a really great way to create a document for your students or your syllabus for your students. Maybe you have a welcome video that you've done and you could upload that here. You have elements to the side that you can see that you can add. So you could add like a YouTube video. Just select something and it would add in. So this is a feature that I do plan to use more often, but I would encourage you to kind of play with it because I think it's kind of neat. It has a lot of possibilities. Whiteboard feature. That's kind of like what you have in that I was talking about earlier, that you have in if you have a Surface Pro that you can use, that you can do here as well. Again, I haven't used this a whole lot, but the concept is essentially very similar to the whiteboard feature in the Surface Pro that I've used a little more, and it makes me absolutely insane. So what I have looked at with this seems much easier to use. Maybe it's because I'm just more familiar with Canva, but you can choose to pick a template, and then from there you can start customizing your template, and then you can share it, have people look at it, and join this and make it collaborative by sharing it and giving other people access to that. So you can look through the side and maybe you find something that would be really great for your students. Maybe they're doing a team building project or they're coming up with ideas. Maybe you've put them in a group project and this is where they're going to decide and create their document for roles and what they're doing and responsibilities or whatever. within their group. So this is kind of a neat feature as well. What are some other things? Um, One cool thing that you can do if you are going to, so let's just open and pick something. If you want to create a QR code for something that you've made, you can go to the top, and when you download it, let's see. You can select the all options and you can click the QR code, and it will turn your design into a QR code. And it will kind of give you like a unique looking QR code that has your feature in the background. So I use that occasionally too because I just think it looks a little bit neater. So we can generate a QR code to that. You have to enter your thing. So then you can download it. Now I have my QR code. Pull that over for you to see. It's a little busy looking, but still. So, you could email this out to your students with something, or they could email it out. Now that one's a little busy looking, but I've had some that came out looking pretty good. But anyway, so it's just kind of a unique way to create a very unique QR code for your courses, or, whatever it is you're using. Just trying to see if I could find a video. I think this is a video. Now, this is one that's not JSU related, but you can kind of see how the feature looks as far as creating videos. I don't know if y'all can hear music or not in that, but you can add music into it. And so you can inset like your video and your image that moves, and then you can have the stationary things, and it's very easy to do. You can get templates. Um, so I mean, while that doesn't necessarily fit the genre of what most of you are doing, you can make really good looking presentation videos like that. So if you're going to create, and you can do websites too, but if you're going to create any of these things, you just go to this top area where you see the different types of creations that you can pick. So for example, we could go to presentations. It's going to take us to just a whole lot of templates for us to choose from. This is where they have the talking presentation. So now you have the ability to add a voiceover to your presentations, and I haven't done that, so I don't really have a lot of experience with that one, but I think it's probably not very hard. Another one that I think is cool is you can do game presentation, where you can create like a custom game, and you can pick a template or make it from a blank game, template. And I think that could be really fun for classes where you're wanting to, maybe play some sort of game or have them present some sort of game in the class. Um, when you're looking at these, you can kind of scroll across them, and you'll be able to see like if it has a play feature, like it'll show you a little template of what it looks like. Click into it once you've decided on whatever you're going to pick. You just open it up, and to the side, it will show you all the different page options that you could add to this. It'll give you like your front page. You can go in there and start. This is a really terrible looking one. You can go in there and kind of make your edits, change things around if you want to. And then as you want to add pages, you just decide like what you want your page to be next. So you could click that. Let's go back to our home one. We could add a page and we could make it, look different. And so you just add your pages there, and then you can start customizing them. And then you can, at the bottom, you can pick like your style and you can apply different styles to them. So different color templates, different, if you want to change colors, you can click on the little color tab at the top. You can see what it's kind of been assigned to have. And then you can look down if you've created brand kit. So like, here's my JSU color scheme brand kit. And these are all of the actual JSU colors that are official from the university, that I could use. So like, here are all of our college colors that go with each college. And these are our reds that our official JSU Canva reds. And we even have like gray and white and black that are the ones that are listed as our appropriate JSU colors. So, and again, you can find all of those in the marketing handbook on the JSU marketing site. But that's a really easy feature to use that I use all the time for presentations. Do y'all have any questions? I know it's a lot of information to try to show somebody how to use like every feature in Canva in one day. So do y'all have questions on anything that I could answer or show you kind of more specifically?
Does anyone have any questions or want to say anything? Can y'all hear me?
Are
Can
you
you hear me?
there? I
Can you
can
hear
hear
me?
you.
Yes.
Okay. I felt like I was talking to myself. Okay.
Do y'all know how fun it is when your students are like during y'all teams meetings? I mean, and you may know a lot of this may be stuff you already knew, that you're pretty familiar with, and it may not have told you anything all of that groundbreaking or different. I think the biggest thing with Canva is just play with it. Like, the more that you play with it, the more you will realize, like, holy cow, I did not have a clue. Like, even things like when I will search anything, like I will search everything because there's probably something that you can use. As whether it is a theme that you're searching and you're wanting content to have a certain theme, or whether it is like a type of a document, a brochure, a cover letter, a report, things like that. You can find pretty much anything. So I would say you're really not limited by anything other than just what you're thinking of to search for. Planners, documents. So there's really just so many, students can create really polished presentations using this, and so can you. I'm gonna delete that little ugly one right off my thing. I guess that's kind of all I have, unless y'all have questions about how to edit something, how to change something, how to add something when you download it, when you upload it, or any of those types of things. If you wanted to resize something, if you have the Pro version to resize, you can go to the top. If it has the little crown beside it, that means it's a Pro version feature and you won't be able to use it unless you have Pro. But so when you go into the resize, I can customize it to exactly what I want, or I can look and, kind of choose like, oh, and here's an Instagram post or a desktop wallpaper or, you know, whatever, Facebook cover, an email newsletter. Like, I didn't even know that really had a size that you would want to pick. Talking presentations, business cards, and I mean, like, sometimes we'll do business cards when we're doing like faculty awards, for example, and we're doing like little place settings and we want like little reserved signs everywhere. I mean, so again, sometimes you can be creative. You might think, well, I don't need business cards, but you never know where, if you want name cards for students and you can choose to have them print out like all on a piece of paper and just cut them out and you would have them. I mean, there's just so many options. But that's it. So to get the colors. Okay. So let's go back home. So to find your colors, let me think about this for a second. First of all, to figure out what they are, I would go to JSU's website. You're going to want to go to marketing services. And when you get to marketing services, you can see the style guide. It's under the helpful hints right here, helpful links. Over here as well, official style guide. So once you click the style guide, this is literally a downloadable document. And this is what tells you what we're supposed to do and not supposed to do with our JSU images, our features. And here's the thing, I mean, if side note, if you've never looked at this is literally the thing that's telling you like, hey, by the way, you're really not supposed to have anything on your email signature that's not, outside of this. What do we break the style guides? Yep, we do. But this is where you can find, are you in compliance? So when I'm making things that are going to go out like university wide, I'm going to be honest, if I'm just making a flyer, I'm going to hang it on my door, I just kind of do what I want to. But if I'm making things for like university-wide faculty awards, I try to make sure I'm in compliance. I don't want anybody to come to me and say like, well, you can't really do that, or you changed that color on that or whatever. So these are really, it's just like the first thing that pops up. These are the Canva color approved palettes. And it gives you a number. So for example, like your hex number, and as a side note of something, if you did not know, this hex number right here, if you're creating Microsoft Forms, you can also use that hex number in your Microsoft form to custom color those as well. And I search up different hex numbers all the time if I want them to be certain colors for whatever I'm doing, like the little background of like the info section. But when if you just read through this document, it will give you, so for example, Gamecock Red, we have is this right here. You can copy that and then you can go into Canva and well, now we got 88 Canvas opened. I have to figure out where. Let's go into our home one. Let me think here for a second. Brand. Just open this. Might have to look to tell you exactly where to go to make the brand kit. I made it so long ago, but what I can tell you is like if you're on something like this and it has a color option, so like a text color option, for example, you can click any document you have open that has a color option, and then you can come over where it'll say like untitled brand kit. So maybe I've used colors that were untitled. And again, brand kits are a feature, I guess, of Pro, it looks like. So I can edit the brand. Let's see. I can type in anybody can do this. I don't know that everybody can make a brand kit. I'd have to kind of look. But like you can click into paste in that number. No, that didn't want to paste it. Oh, that's a PDF as well. Let's see. Let's look up 9B3435. Oh, hold on. It does work because I have them all in here. I just got to figure out how to do that. Chris, you stumped me. Oh, wait, I guess because I could finish it. There it is. I just didn't have my whole number typed in. I was like, what am I doing wrong? Okay, so like that brick color. There is the actual, so that color changed. It's actually pretty similar to what I have. And it's Bib Brick, which is one of our official colors. So you just can type in when you're looking at any color, you can type in that number and it will pull up the official color. And then you can go down, like if there was a bunch of like anything that was the previous color, I can go down here to change all and click it. Now everything has been changed. That was the original color that I used. Now the background is a background image, so I can't change that color like of the playing cards. But to save a brand kit, I'd have to do a quick Google search to tell you how to do that. But that's the other thing, you know, do a Google search. You'll find all of your answers pretty much in that. But and it may be through here. Brand template, brand kit. There it is. Brand colors. There it is. Okay. Duh. It was the tool called brand. That was super hard. So there you go. JSU color scheme. I could go in and add more colors to it. I would just click that and then type in that number and then save it. So like, for example, I had to do like a travel guide in one of my classes that I'm taking, and I had just planned a trip to Disney for my kids. So I did a Disney travel guide. So like I downloaded the font so I could use that on it. And I downloaded the like a Disney color palette or whatever. So you can do that. I don't have very many of them saved. I usually just have the JSU one is the one I use the most. So that's how. So add a new one to that, and then you would look up each of those individual numbers, like for example, like this. And then you would add that in and it would create it, and then you'd add a custom palette and just save it, and you would have, and they have some that they, you know, that you can choose from too, that they'll come up with their own color palettes of colors that go well together that you can use. I hope that maybe was around the world, but eventually answered the question. So just going into that brand right there. Again, it looks like it might be a pro feature that if you're going to save the JSU color palette, you'd have to have the pro, but you could look it up every time when you're just changing the colors of your font items and just type that in by going to the style guide and just looking at that number and then typing it in to the individual color place like I did on this
Micah,
one. Hey.
Micah, hey, sorry, this is Kimber. I think my question got confused. I thought I understood you to say that each college had a
Mhm.
color.
They do.
That's what I couldn't find.
Right here in the style guide. It doesn't say what they all are, but each of these colors represents a college. So you can
So how do
know,
we know which one is which?
okay, so here's a trick. Nobody really says this, right? If you look at our homepage, look at the
Oh,
colors we have around each of those colleges.
sweet.
Um, So arts and humanities is purple. Education and professional studies is that kind of gold color, that Houston Coal sunset color. College of Science and Math is green, and business and industry is, I think that's the brick color, maybe. Yes, is the brick color. Social behavioral sciences is the rooster crow kind of orange color, and health professions and wellness is the blue color. And if you click into these, you know, you can see like that little header here has that color that correlates. And so I don't really know why we don't talk about it more, but they do. They all have a color, and that's kind of just supposed to create some continuity for the departments. It was decided a while back. It's a thing, but it's probably not one that anybody much pays attention to. But it is technically there. So like you'll see all of these little features are in their correlating color for the college. Yeah. So there you go. The more you know. You do have a color. And while nobody maybe really pays attention to it, if I'm doing something specific for a college, sometimes I'll use that color that goes with it. So, any other questions? Yeah, just play with it. I mean, if you have a question, just send it to me, and I don't know that I can totally answer it, but I can probably Google an answer to it. But I think that's it. I mean, I know we're at time, and that was probably a very long time for you to have to listen to Canva information, but I would say use it all the time because it is worth it. That's all I got. I'm done.
Does anyone have any questions for Micah? Before everyone, I've already posted this a couple times, but before everyone leaves or at some point, please take a moment to let Micah know how she did. I already know how she did. Oh, looks like we've got a hand up. Jill.
Hey, my question is for you, Chris, I think.
Okay. All right.
I saw an email where it said that we could get Power School credit for this for certification. So do
Yeah.
we have to do anything for that? I need to go back and read that email again, but I
Yeah.
didn't find anywhere to register for that on Power School.
Well, that they have to put it in. They'll put
Okay.
it in.
So it's not there yet.
No, I don't think so.
Okay.
But I have to give them a list. They do it. I
Okay.
think they do it after. So yeah, if anyone is in here with the state of Alabama teaching certificate, you want block hour credit through Power School, email me and I'll get that information to them.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Does anyone else have any questions or comments for Micah or for me?
All right. Well, y'all have fun playing with it.
Thanks for coming, everyone. Have a great rest of the day. Thanks, Micah.
You're welcome. Oh, was I still like sharing my screen?
Yeah.